back to the Divine Creatrix Circle. I want to live stream this on Instagram as well, so I'm just gonna do that right now. Okay, great. So let's do it. We're on all platforms, and I'm so excited to be back with the Divine Creatrix Circle. And today we'll be going deep into the number one fear that is holding you back from the love you want, conscious and healthy love. And I've had so many conversations with so many women going through this. And yeah, hi to everyone who's joining. Please let me know where you're joining from. Drop it in the chat, in the comments. The number one fear. Let's dive deep into it. Let's go into the tea. Once you know this, is going to really change your life. And really, in my own experience, when I learned to welcome that fear and hold space for that fear, it allowed me to have the courage to go after what I really wanted. And it really helped me reclaim my power in relationship. And the number one fear that is holding you back from conscious and healthy love is the fear of being alone, the fear of ending up alone. And in Open Hearted, my 3-month coaching program where we go deep into healing your relationship blueprint, that is a conversation we have all the time, because this is the biggest illusion of all times. The biggest illusion. And the truth with illusions, it's that it's a system that is frozen in time. It's a decision that is misleading you into fear, that is moving you backwards because it's linked to the past. And so this fear of being alone is not only holding you back from conscious and healthy love, but it's also a way where you leak your energy, where you leak your power. And I don't know if you had realized this before. Again, say hi in the chat where you're joining from. I'm so happy to see all of you here. Hi, Mary. And yeah, this illusion is based on the fact that you believe more on fear than love. And of course, it seems logic and obvious when we say it like that. But I know that this fear is running deep, especially for feminine women who are yearning for deep connection and conscious love. And let's be honest here. Let me know in the chat if that is you and that resonates with you. Drop a yes if that's you. You remember, as long as you can remember moments in your life where you're fully yearning for deep love and you've been waiting and looking for a relationship that nourishes you, a relationship that elevates you. And as present or as little as it is in your mind, in your consciousness, in your day-to-day, there are moments in your life where you can easily remember where you were yearning for this. And it even starts really young. And of course, we all have that image of the Prince Charming that is going to arrive from nowhere. And we have been fed a certain narrative around that growing up for sure. But if we go beyond the narratives that were coming from the outside, when I'm having that conversation with women, we can be really honest with ourselves to acknowledge that this has been there. This desire has been there for as long as we can remember. And drop a yes in the chat if that is you. and that you have moments in time where you know you have been yearning for this, or maybe you're fully yearning for this right now. I want to know because I know I'm not alone. And most women I talk with, we have that conversation, especially when we are committed, or when the woman I'm talking to is really committed to attracting their soulmate, their dream partner, and making that a reality for themselves. And the reason why that fear is holding you back from conscious and healthy love is that the fear, when it's running you, is taking decisions for you. You're taking decisions from lack rather from fullness. You're taking decisions from fear rather from love. And I've done that mistake. I've made that mistakes many times in my life, to overstay in relationships that were not serving me, to drag myself over the limit of suffering and pain, even though I knew this relationship was not what I wanted, because I was so afraid of being alone. And my main narrative, when I was faced with making a decision, faced with a conflict or so much pain, where my heart and my soul were crying and screaming at me to get out, the first thing that would pop into my mind is, what if I don't find anyone else? Or what if I don't find someone better? And that soul narrative, that I only needed that thought in my mind to forget about the pain, to repress and push away that pain that was letting me know I was not walking my path. I was not going into the direction of what I wanted, that I was not honoring my heart desires. And so, drop a yes if you've been in that situation as well, or your favorite emoji. Please let me know. We've been there in those moments where it's fully clear this dynamic, this relationship is not for us, but the fear of never finding someone else, or the fear of not having someone else in our lives, is enough for us to no longer honor what's important, no longer listen to our hearts. And this is a problem when it becomes a problem, when this narrative is the one making decisions for you, when you're overriding what's truly important, or you're no longer acting in alignment with your values and what's important for you, but you're acting from a place of scarcity and lack. You're trying to avoid pain, so you stay in pain. And as you can see right now, it doesn't make logical sense to do that. And yet we do it. Because the truth is that the unconscious doesn't make sense. And that is one big mistake that I see in the personal development space, is trying to make sense of things, being so stuck in the need to dig deeper for the why, to understand the why. But understanding why doesn't change anything. Understanding your patterns doesn't change anything. And I've been there, where I understood my childhood trauma, I understood why what's happening, understood my attachment style. I understood all of it. Yet I kept attracting the type of partners I didn't want, and that were not for my highest good. And that is your fears don't make sense. And they don't have to make sense for them to be overcome and alchemized. But the reason I wanted to talk about this today, and the reason all of you voted for that, because I put a poll on my stories, and the majority voted for this subject because I know it's in the way. I know it's this specific fear, it's in the way of the things we want because the fear is so big when it's attached to relationships that it's enough to forget about what's important, to forget about what's true, what is true for us, the true feelings, the true narrative we want to carry and we want to honor in our lives and in our relationships. And I want to offer you a reframe in this moment. And one reframe that really helped me overcome this fear and really alchemize this fear. And is to look at the situation from an objective point of view. You being in a relationship to not be alone, you overextending yourself in a relationship you know is no longer serving you by fear of being alone is not only a disservice for yourself, but is a disservice for the other person. And you're just perpetuating the pain and reaffirming that narrative by staying in that relationship that is overdue, that has been long completed. You cannot create space for the relationships that are meant for your next level, for the soul's contract of the people that are meant to be in the next level of your life, if you stay stuck in a lower level, if you stay stuck where you've been in the past. And of course, your mind will convince you of all the reason you shouldn't get out of your comfort zone, because that is its very purpose, to keep you in safety. But safety is not about familiarity, even though that's how we are wired. We can understand consciously that sometimes what's familiar for us is pain and suffering and chaos. And we can understand that safety is not that. But yet, our mind will really hold on to what's familiar because it feels frightening to get out of that box, to get out of that comfort zone, to step into the unknown. And it's totally valid to feel that because, again, that's how we are wired. But in order for us to alchemize the fears that are holding us back and truly create our deepest desires into form, and that's why I created this circle, and it's called the Divine Creative Circle, is because when you are living your life open-heartedly, when you're fully in tune with your heart, when you're fully stepping into your feminine essence, and you remember your power, there's nothing that can stop you. Nothing. Nothing outside of you, nothing fed internally that comes from the outside, nothing that is pushed from the outside world into you, because you're so clear, so attuned with your desires, with the visions that are calling you forward, that you owe it to yourself to honor that there's no other way possible but to choose love, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's scary, even if that means passing through difficult moments, even if that means facing the deepest shadows that you carry, even if that means becoming friend with the emotions that scare you the most. Because love is not conditional. Attachment is conditional. And we'll choose comfort when it's available. But love is all about truth. is all about alignment. And I say this all the time, but your mind will find comfort in sameness. Your mind will find comfort in sameness, but your heart can only find comfort in truth. Because you can live in the full illusion of convincing yourself that maybe you won't find someone and you're better off staying with the person or the relationship that you're in, even though you know that it's not serving any of the people in that dynamic. You can convince yourself with all of those stories, and your mind will find comfort in that because you don't have to get out of your comfort zone. But your heart is crying. Your heart is conflicted because there is a conflict happening internally, no matter how hard you try to convince yourself that it's not there. And that's why when you start living your life from your seat of power and you understand that you're a divine creatrix, that you have the power to alchemize any fear into light, that you have the power to see beyond patterns, recognize the patterns, and move on when they no longer serve you, because you know that no amount of convincing will hide the fact that there's so much more waiting for you on the other side. And when you start relating to life in this way, when you start relating to yourself in this way, you can acknowledge the fear for what it is. And you start seeing your fears for what they are. No longer a truth, because they've never been a truth, but the illusions you're attached to in order to stay comfortable. And this is fully full moon energy. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because we had a full moon in Virgo on Saturday. And I don't know about you, but it moved a lot for me, and it shined so much light in the ways that I still convince myself based on illusions that are not even mine, based on belief systems, BS, that is not even mine, that I learned to tolerate, that I learned to believe, because that was shown to me when I was growing up. That was my reality in which I came into earth in. And from the path that I'm walking and understanding that living from my heart and from my truth is the most powerful thing I can do for myself and for others. Because my radiance, my own love, my own power is a gift to the world. It is a duty to have the courage to see beyond the fears. And the beautiful thing is that the more you welcome the fears, the more you realize that life has been designed in a perfect way to call you forward all the time, and that you are supported. You are supported to move into your biggest and highest expansion at all times. Life is not punishing you. Your unconscious is not punishing you. Your unconscious works perfectly, and life works perfectly. And when you're ready to up level, when you're ready to step into your next season of your life, your next level, your highest level, when you're ready to welcome your deepest desires that you hold in your heart for a long time, and that you know they are for you because they keep calling you, like the healthy and conscious love you're yearning for. It's not a coincidence, it's a calling. There's someone on the other line that is calling you forward. And you can see it as your soulmate, you can see it as your higher self, as your soul. But it's all intertwined, all connected. But if you feel it, you feel desire for it, It's calling you. And it's not a coincidence. And so you owe it to yourself to meet you there, to meet yourself there. You owe it to yourself and to everything that is awaiting for you in the future to go there. And what a disservice would it be to let an illusion, something that is not even true, to stop you from moving forward, to meeting your soulmate, to meeting the partner, your life partner with whom you're going to create so much happiness, so much peace, so much abundance, so much growth with. Love is not about sacrifice. And the only part that you must sacrifice in the name of love is what is not love. But love will never demand of you to sacrifice a part of yourself or part of your soul, a part of your truth. It will never do that because that's not what love is about. That is attachment. And so my question for you is, where are you still playing small? Where are you still being led by your fear? And where are you being held back? In which ways do you hold yourself back from fully stepping into the resonance of the love you want to have and experience in your life? And maybe that is with yourself right now, in the ways that you compromise yourself by maybe not listening to your emotions, not paying attention to what's truly important, wasting time doing things that are not serving you. Or maybe it's in a dynamic of a relationship and it's clear. And maybe you have not had the courage to act upon the clarity that you already have. And what I have to say to that is that the moment you step forward is the moment you see the evidence of truth. And not a moment before can you experience the clarity and the empowerment of following your truth. Because in order to do that, it demands to alchemize the shadow and the fear and the wound and the blockage, the block that is in front of you. But you will never lose something by alchemizing and seeing beyond fears. You will never lose something. But in the opposite, when you choose fear and you let fear drive you, drive your decisions, drive your priorities, that's when you lose it all. You lose it all. And I've talked with so many women who have dragged themselves over the limit so many times because at a deep unconscious level, and maybe it was conscious, maybe it wasn't, what they were most afraid of is ending up alone. The man void. It's easier for us as feminine beings to hold on to a masculine form than to be in the void of the masculine. And David Data named this the him-shaped void. It's much more scarier. But the moment we start seeing that for what it is, we understand that the him-shaped void will always be present if we keep choosing relationships and dynamics where the real him is not there. And we cannot create space for that in our lives if we keep choosing what is not. You cannot choose love while pushing away love. You cannot choose love while choosing attachment. Because the problem and the solution cannot coexist at the same time. The problem can be alchemized and transmuted into the solution. But you cannot keep choosing the problem, the root cause of the problem, and allowing it to drive you and simultaneously hoping that the solution will come. And I really hope you're picking up what I'm putting down in this life, because it's an important conversation we must have woman to woman. Because I see in you the courage and the power of your desires. And I know deeply from my own life, from my own path, from my own connection with other women walking this path towards healthy and conscious love. I know it's not a coincidence that you feel the way you feel. I know it's not a coincidence that your heart is breaking in the absence of true love. And it's not a coincidence why it felt so hard, or it's still feeling hard to be in the presence of the love you are yearning for. The truth is that you wouldn't be called forward if we could not recognize where love is not, where the absence of love is. And sometimes that is the initiation and the journey we have to go through in order to finally snap out of the illusion. But you don't have to suffer. You don't have to drag yourself over the limit to understand what is. The only thing that is needed and for you is for you to be so radically honest with yourself and be so present with your heart. Open your heart to what is calling you forward, to see clearly, and to find the courage in you to move forward, because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to experience the love that you want. So let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, on Instagram, let me know in the comments what came up for you, what unfolded for you from this conversation. And I'm just looking through the comments to see the questions. I actually watch your content. It's inspiring. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Comes from the heart. How can you connect to the other side? Gigi said. I don't know if you're still on, Gigi, but I'm not sure I understand your question. What do you mean by the other side? Can you let me know? It's going to be easier. My partner recommended you to me. That's so nice. That's really nice. It's really nice to see someone who thinks, speak, and feel this way. Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, Gigi, if you're still there, I would love to answer your question. Let me know what you mean by the other side. If you mean the other side of true love and conscious love, my simple answer to that is offering that to yourself. Because let's break the illusion right here, right now. The relationship you have with yourself is dictating all the other relationships in your life. And your relationships are a mirror to what's happening within. And so we cannot blame it. We can try to blame it on other people. We can try to blame it on life. We can try to blame it on lack of luck or whatever their storyline is. But in all your relationships, there's a common denominator, and it's you. And I had to have that big revelation myself after only experiencing toxic relationships and being fed up about it. You cannot be in a victim mentality and step into your creatrix power. As I said before, the problem and the solution cannot coexist at the same time. And true healing can only happen when we take full responsibility, because you are the creator of your life, you are divine creatrix, and you have the power. You have the power to literally create whatever you want. You must be willing to sacrifice the need of the ego to stay where it is. You must sacrifice the need of the ego to stay in the comfort zone. Because as long as the ego itself is not integrated into light, it will continue to choose fear and it will continue to drive you. And it's easy to lose ourselves like that. You didn't come here to survive. You came here to experience life. And I know it's easier said than done, but you can make the decision today. And I know many of you have done that decision because I've had those conversations, and I know that the collective is being supported into fully stepping into our most magnetic selves, into our divine creatrix power. Because we are, as women, we are the guardians of life and death, of course, because life comes with that. But it is through us that life takes form. And we have to come into the realization of how powerful that is. What honor we have to have a system, a body that is able to create life. And of course, I'm talking about babies and new humans, but symbolically, if your body is wired physically to do that, it's wired energetically and emotionally and mentally to do that. And we all have divine creatrix power, men as well. I'm not saying that only women can become divine creatrix, because we all are divine creators. But it takes a lot of honesty and being humble to recognize what you actually can do. And I know we've been fed so many narratives of the feminine being weak and less than. But in order to create healthy and conscious love, it's all about reclaiming that power and realizing that it's through our own devotion that we can call forward those relationships and men as well. It's all a co-creative process. Thank you so much. I'm still healing from a very toxic relationship. I agree 100%. I'm so healing from a very long toxic relationship. With you girls, I've been there, and I know how difficult that is and how it can work your world in not always the most positive ways. But through my own experience, after my last forever toxic relationship in 2020, before I met my now boyfriend, and I experienced healthy and conscious love for the first time in my life, it was a big wake-up call into what I was saying before, realizing that I was the common denominator. But seeing through that illusion gave me the courage and the power to no longer settle ever again. And as much as I felt alone and disempowered and hopeless at times, I can see now that, as I said before, life and your unconscious work perfectly. And you wouldn't be presented with these situations if you were not ready to heal that. and that I truly believe. And so the fact that it's happening right now just means that you've never been so equipped, so better equipped, so ready to transmute it. There's no coincidences. I still can't get past the fact that I accepted their disrespect for a long-term relationship in the past. Totally agree with that. It was a big grief process for me to make peace with the version of myself that was in that dynamic. But it was really healing for me to actually do that process of not only forgiving my ex-partners, but also forgive the part of me who didn't know better. You cannot know what you cannot know. But now that you know, now you have the ability, you have the resources, you have the courage, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom to do better. But before that, you didn't. And so you can judge yourself all you want or resist all you want, but that part of you was not equipped to deal with that at the time. But now you are. And so again, that's what I was saying. There's no coincidences. And that's what we do inside Open Hearted specifically. So I know many of you said that you are still dealing through toxic relationships, but that is the reason why I created Open Hearted, is my 6-month group coaching program where we go deep into healing your relationship blueprint to release all of those imprints that are driving you unconsciously into relationships that reflect and mirror back your wounds, and really go into the root cause and release that so it's no longer part of your identity, your reality. And a big part of that is also reclaiming your feminine power through letting go of the past and reclaiming all parts of you that you denied, repressed, or rejected because of the conditioning we received, of the conditioning that we learned. And I know for the feminine, stepping into our power and being fierce has been repressed and oppressed in our society in so many ways, but in a short way, by teaching us to disconnect from our bodies and our emotions because we don't want to be too much. But this is important work, and that's why I'm so committed and so passionate about what we do inside Open Hearted, the community, the woman inside, the work that we're doing. It's not only changing a relationship, elevating a relationship blueprint. It's not only creating the space and magnetizing conscious and healthy men. It's not only that. It's literally setting the tone for what we want to call forward as a collective. Because again, as women, we're the guardians of life and death. And through our own power, we get to support humanity into love, into unconditional love. That's why it's a devotion. It's something that is active in you. And your heart wants that. Your heart wants truth. And if we're honest with ourselves, we don't want to create an environment for future children to go through the same wounds. We don't want to carry on the pain and the suffering of the past. If we're honest with ourselves, we don't want to do that. But in order to really change that, we must be willing to be fully honest with ourselves and see where we are leaking our power to past conditioning, to past illusions. And so if you're being called to really do that work, not only to call in your most divine dream partner and the relationship that will help you step into your next level and move through life in peace and vitality and wellness and love and respect of course. But you also want to change the storyline of your bloodline if you want to create a new reality for your future family, for the generations to come. That is where we join together and we do that. And it's so much more than just like, again, releasing limiting beliefs. It's also connecting back into our bodies and reclaiming the parts of ourselves that we have rejected and pushed away. So if you're feeling called by that work and you know that you're ready to move forward and you're ready for more because you've been feeling the yearning for a long, long time, and you're no longer, you don't want to waste more time and energy on superficial manifestation methods that are keeping you stuck in the same stories. And if you're ready to do the real work, you can comment heart here in the comments and we can chat to see if that is a good fit for you. But yeah, it's all about healing your relationship blueprint and magnetizing conscious and healthy love. So if you're ready for that in your life right now, comment heart here and we'll chat to see if that is a great fit for you. So I hope this was insightful. I'm loving those conversations. I'm back with the Divine Creature Circle, so they will be happening every Monday at 11 a.m. EST here on Instagram, but also on YouTube. So you can look to my store, my link in bio if you want to join on YouTube, or if you're on YouTube and you want to watch on Instagram or join the community, you can find all the links there. But we can see each other next Monday here, and I would love to know what subjects, what topics you want me to talk about. So no matter where you are, which platform you are on, please comment underneath this video what you want me to talk about next week and the weeks to come. So I hope you have a magical day. And as usual, I'm going to say it for you to remember today, but every day is an opportunity for you to create magic. And you have that power within your reach in this moment. So thank you for joining. Thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate your engagement and your presence here. And we will see each other next Monday. Bye.